Hi and welcome to Budgerty, the property budgeting platform. Today I'll show you how to use the mortgage repayment calculator. Here we can calculate the monthly repayment amount, vary the total mortgage amount, mortgage term and interest rate, and we can simulate the effects of overpayments. Let's start by selecting the calculator. First we need to go through a short wizard. The mortgage debt then, in our example, we'll take £250,000. Now we need to select either an interest-only mortgage or a repayment. Interest-only is a mortgage where we only repay each month the interest portion, so the interest charged on the loan amount. The actual loan or principal is not repaid. A repayment mortgage, in contrast, then contains two elements: the interest that is charged on the loan and a portion each month to repay the debt. In our example, we will go with a repayment mortgage. And let's take an interest rate of 5% and a mortgage spread over 20 years. This is the results screen. The upper left here shows us 3 sliders. Here we can vary our mortgage debt by moving the slider, or simply type a new amount in the box. We can vary our mortgage term in years. Let's go back to 20, and we can vary the interest rate, and we'll set that back to 5%. We can change the mortgage type between interest and repayment here, and add any fees to take out the mortgage, for example £1,000, and we can then select whether or not we wish to add these fees to the mortgage itself. We can simulate the effects of overpayments. Here we can enter a one-off overpayment and select whether or not we wish to simulate a reduction in the mortgage term as a result of that payment, or a reduction in the monthly repayments. And finally, we can enter a monthly overpayment. We'll look at those later. For now, this middle section shows us the monthly repayment amount and a graphic where we can see the mortgage term at the bottom. Over the 20 years then, these red dots indicate the remaining debt. So this will reduce over the 20 years. The bars show our payments, and we can see between green and yellow the relative proportion between interest paid each year and the debt paid off, so the loan amount paid off. You'll note that early on in the mortgage term, a large proportion of the total amount paid is interest, whereas towards the end of the mortgage term, this switches and a larger proportion of the total paid is going towards paying off that debt. On the right, a table with a row for each year of the mortgage term. This shows our running remaining debt over the 20 years. total debt paid and total interest paid. So in this example, at the end of the 20 years, we've paid off the £250,000 loan, and we've paid £145,973 of interest. So if we move the mortgage debt up, we'll see those figures in the table increase. So both the total debt and the interest paid, and then the opposite if we reduce the mortgage debt. You can see how the mortgage term affects our monthly repayments, shown in the middle, and also then summarised in the table on the right. And importantly, the effect the interest rate has on the repayments and the total paid over the term. Let's look at overpayments now. If we start by simulating a one-off overpayment of £30,000, and we'll see how that affects our monthly repayment. So by selecting reduce payments, we will maintain the 20-year mortgage term and seek to pay less per month. We can see our repayment per month has gone down to £1,452 from £1,650. And we can see the interest paid over the 20 years without having confirmed that overpayment is £145,973. We confirm that £30,000 overpayment, so the monthly repayment reduces. We keep the same term of 20 years, but we also see significant reduction of the interest paid. That's now £128,457. Our debt paid on the mortgage, £220,000 plus this £30,000 overpayment. Let's see now how it looks if we use this £30,000 overpayment to reduce the mortgage term. We can see the repayment goes back to £1,650 per month. But from a 20-year mortgage, we now come down to 17 years. Again, the interest paid is significantly lower at £101,809. And total debt paid, £220,000 plus this £30,000 here. So that's how we can simulate one-off overpayments. We can leave that in for now as a reduction to our mortgage term and simulate the effects of an additional monthly overpayment. Let's enter £200 per month. We see the monthly repayment increase from £1,650 to £1,850. The mortgage term has reduced further from 17 years now down to 14 years. By definition then, a monthly overpayment will reduce the term of the mortgage. And the interest paid now less again at £84,417. Total debt remaining the same, £220,000 plus this £30,000 one-off overpayment, £250,000 in total. So now we can simulate the effect of a reduction in the total mortgage term, interest rate, or total mortgage debt. And that's it for this tutorial. Enjoy simulating mortgage repayments and see you in the next tutorial.